The Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 Reunion Part 1 just aired, and we need to talk about it. We need to roast it. We need to react to it. We need to recap it. So hopefully you're wearing something comfy. Grab a beverage, smash that like, hit the subscribe, and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. Your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian and Bravo superfan and Pop Culture Vulture, Joleen Lunzer here to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County. We had the part 1 of the season 18 reunion this evening. It just aired. And we're going to sound off. We're going to do it the only way we know how to do it over here. We roast it, we recap it, we take a comedic look. You guys, just if it's your first time here or if you're returning, just a reminder, I'm very opinionated in my opinions, I guess. What a novel idea. But that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinions as me. When it comes to these television shows and stuff we talk about, you are welcome to sound off in our wonderful live chat or in the comment section after we can agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
So hello, everyone. So good to see you. Like I said, don't forget to hit that like, because then it notifies the YouTube algorithm that we're having fun over here. We're talking about the Real Housewives, and then it'll invite other people to join in our live chat. And you guys always kill it in the live chat, and it is so fun. So please leave all your thoughts, hopes, dreams, and opinions about what we're talking about this evening in the live chat and the comment section for my replay crew. Hello. If you want to support the channel further, you can hit that subscribe. It's free. If you want to support the channel even further, you can always send a super chat while we're live here on YouTube. I'll highlight your comment. We can talk about it. You can send a super thanks after the video post. Shout out to those of you who have done that. Otherwise, you can consider maybe joining my YouTube membership or my Patreon, whatever works best for you. Or you can hit me up on the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. You don't have to do any of that, but you can if you want to. All right. Hello, Kylie says, Joleen, I'm not well after watching that. Please sound off. Please sound off. Notifications. Yes, make sure you have your notifications on too. And sometimes you have to reselect it. Steven says, damn, Joleen, I would have watched the reunion live had I known. I was actually, okay, so here's the deal. I was going to watch it live with you. Next week, we're watching Orange County live on the East Coast together because I signed back up for Sling TV. I got rid of it for a while in an attempt to save money. I don't need it. I can watch it the next day on Peacock. But I really loved when we did the Big Brother finale and we watched that together. So for the next 2 parts, I want to watch it live with you guys and react to it together. And then for this upcoming season of Beverly Hills, I want to do that as well. So just get ready. We'll be doing that. It'll be fun. So next week, we'll start the watching it together and recapping. Granted, I can't play it for you guys because NBC Universal will strike me, but we can watch it together and then I'll comment on it. So you have to watch it on your own devices. I know. I wish I could just share my screen and we could all watch it together, but no. Pamela says Emily was a dog with a bone. Emily went in hard. Let's break it down, you guys, by housewife. We're going to kind of jump around with this first part of the reunion. I thought overall, this was a pretty interesting first reunion. Okay. Because sometimes part 1 is just, oops, I got rid of it. It's just unnecessary and kind of boring. But this reunion started off, like you guys are saying, pretty strong. And this is what this season of Orange County has been. These women have been coming for each other's throats, whether it's Tamra coming for Shannon and her sobriety, or Emily kind of coming for everyone at some time, or Tamra coming for Jen, and then Jen finally deciding that she was going to rise up and talk shit back to Tamra. Katie coming for Heather, and then Heather coming for Katie. We have a lot to dissect. Okay, so let's talk about the first kind of story at the reunion that they discussed of any significance, and that would be Shannon Bedore and this sobriety journey and her relationship with Tamra. So last season, at the end of the season, or after the season was filmed, Shannon got her DUI, and she got a DUI 3 times over the legal limit, crashed into a house, was in a fight with her boyfriend, John Jansen. And so we've kind of been waiting for this season to see how Shannon's doing, to see what she had to say. And this whole season has just been Tamra like, you're a drunk. And then they pulled out the receipts showing that a lot of people have been calling Shannon a drunk for a lot of seasons. Now, as a drunk myself, okay, as someone who has been sober since 2012, I, there's a large part of me that's like, what Shannon's telling us, I'm like, that's not how it works, Shannon. You probably have a little, more of an unhealthy relationship with alcohol than you're willing to admit. All right. But I don't think the way Tamra's handling it and just shaming her, and I don't think it's for the right reasons. I don't think Tamra's doing this because she wants her friend to get sober. I think Tamra secretly hates Shannon and has for a long time. Tamra seems to hate a lot of her friends, or maybe that's just what keeps her on reality TV. But Tamra shows no empathy at all for Shannon. And it's just like, now you're making me feel bad for 3 times over the legal limit drive drunk Shannon. You know what I mean? Like, I have empathy. And when they brought up Gina and why Gina doesn't go hard, why she didn't really go hard after Shannon. Because if anyone in this cast should have went hard at Shannon after she got her DUI and accident, it would have been Gina. Because when Gina got a DUI, Shannon seemed to take great delight in putting herself on a pedestal above Gina, being like, when they pulled in the receipts tonight of Shannon saying, when Gina got her DUI years ago, going, there's just no reason to it's the most foolish thing to get a DUI in this time, in 2017 or whatever it was. And then it's like, fast forward 4 to 7 years, and Shannon's sitting there with not only a DUI, but a hit and run DUI where you crash into a house. Now, the reason I think Gina didn't go hard for Shannon is because Gina has something that Tamra doesn't. It's called empathy. And Gina doesn't strike me as the type that likes to kick someone when they're down. That's just not her thing. She might be the brokest housewife. She might have had some of the worst hair we've ever seen. Okay. She might be in a very confusing relationship with a man with a beard. But Gina isn't. It doesn't look like Gina has been through some things in her life, so she has more empathy and she doesn't enjoy kicking someone. And she said Shannon came to her and really apologized and cried, and she was able to be like, okay, you treated me bad, but I want you to get better because I know this journey, and so I hope the best for you. Which I'm like, oh my God, Gina, you're such a little sweetie. I do. I sometimes I go back and forth with Gina, but I think she's a sweetie. Do I think she's too broke to be on the show? Yeah, I do. But I also think she's a sweet person. Okay. But do I wish I could give her more money? Yeah. But I also wish I could give me more money. And I wish I could give all you more money. But Gina is sweet like that. So Shannon should be very thankful to Gina, where she could be dragging her up and down the street. She doesn't. She shows empathy and she's soft with her. Now, I get that Tamra's annoyed and she thinks Shannon's a drunk, because it can be annoying to be around drunks. As a drunk, I understand. And as being around drunks or family members who were drunk, it's annoying. However, Tamra, you're kind of a drunk too. And also, you're not doing it for reasons because you're like, I just wanted to get better and I wanted to be a better person. I want to be your friend. You're doing it because you're like, you're taking great pleasure in it, in the downfall of Shannon for whatever reason. So when Tamra then tonight, it's like, I'm sorry. Hey, Vivian, good to see you. Thanks for making it. When Tamra was like, Shannon, I want to be friends again. Friends like Tamra, oh my God, no, thank you. When Shannon said, this isn't even my point. She's like, I am full of open wounds. I totally got that. Tamra, this is what she does. She shits on her friend all season. You're drunk, you're a loser, all these things. She calls people fat. She's just like not a good reality TV friend, okay? With Jen and Ryan's situation, she's like, Jen, you're an idiot. And then Jen, stands up to her with a flat stomach. And now Tamra's like, okay, maybe I'll listen. Okay, maybe you put me in my place. But it's just frustrating to watch Tamra go back and forth with these ladies. Like, it's clear you hate them, right? It's pretty clear You're showing that you hate Jen. You think she's an idiot. And you might be a little jealous of her. Not her situation, but maybe Jen in general. Okay. And Jen does get along with Eddie. Has anybody thought about that? How well Jen and Eddie get along? How attractive Jen is? And how Tamra just seems to like pick a fight with her over Ryan. Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't think Ryan's the greatest guy, but it's interesting. It's interesting. And then with Shannon, you go so hard at her, and then she's like, oh, I want to be friends again. She did the same thing with Vicky. And it's like friends like Shannon, you don't need them. You do not need them. Kylie says Shannon is saying what all of us alcoholics say when the problems drinking causes become too big to ignore. Tamra isn't wrong in her opinion. Yes, but her intentions or approach are way off. Yes, I don't think she's wrong in her opinion. Do I think Shannon, you asked me, and the people, you got to come to it on your own. Do I think Shannon has a drinking problem? Yeah. Yeah. I think when you blow 3 times over the legal limit and crash into a house when you're 60, that's a problem. Do I think Shannon is working on certain parts of herself which makes her more likable than Tamra? I mean, if you can't get more likable than someone who just got a DUI and hit a house and blew 3 times over the legal limit, there's a problem. You have a problem, Tamra. And I do wish that Shannon would have that realization, but she might never. And if you're really her friend, you wouldn't treat it like this. I get that there are boundaries that need to be set. That's why interventions happen, and if you don't get sober, I can't be in your life, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. But this just cruelty that Tamra seems to have with Shannon and her drinking and the joy she takes and being like, you're a drunk. And I'm just like, no, I can't get on that. Hey, witness. Lexi Lean says, hopefully Shannon's therapist might help her identity or identify her issues. I was going to say help her identity issues, but identify her issues. Yes, hopefully, because she did say, I'm in therapy. And I do think Shannon's in therapy because I think any therapist would say, oh, yeah, I watched that show. I saw that relationship, and Tamra's definitely toxic, and she's not going to get you sober. She's going to keep you drinking. So yes, Lexi says Tamra's awful. It looks like she's out, right? So then when Shannon is saying, oh, you hurt me. Everything you've done to me, Tamra, like I'm an open wound. And then Tamra goes, and what you've done to me. And I'm thinking, what did Shannon do to Tamra? Can anybody put it in the chat? What did Shannon do to Tamra? Irene says, I dabble in gardening. I even walk or Uber. Graphics designer, hello, good to see you. So when Tamra's trying to go off saying, Shannon, what you did to me, I'm like, what did Shannon do to you? Shannon's been trying to be your friend. Shannon isn't, I mean, how many times have we seen Tamra drunk, yelling at people, ruining relationships, falling in bushes, running away, embarrassing Eddie, I imagine, a lot. So it's really hard, even when you're, let's say, an active alcoholic or you clearly have a problem, to be called out by someone who also seems to have a problem. Linda says, I can never really remember a time when Tamra was ever truly happy, right? If it happened, it was short-lived. It's strange. I don't know if it's a part of Tamra's personality or if this is who she is to remain on reality television, or if somehow she has lost sight of who she is because of reality television. I don't know. People who knew Tammy Sue back in the day would have to tell us that. But great point. Linda Graphics says it's tit for tat with Tamrat. It seems to be. Pamela D says Tamra's lack of empathy and overwhelming need for justice are the only things that make me think she might be on the spectrum. But those are also narcissistic traits. So we don't know. I mean, Tamra did say she went to one therapy appointment. So Shannon already beat her on that. Seems like Shannon's been to more. And that her therapist said she was on the spectrum after one appointment. And I'm like, I don't know if that's how it works. I think they might need to meet with you a few more times. I don't think they can just be like, hi, you've been here for 10 minutes. Yes, you are on the spectrum. But maybe there's new technology. Maybe she got scanned like she's in the Matrix and they were like, yep, you're on the spectrum. It seemed like it was more of Tamra trying to find a reason to get out of her behavior. And I also have an issue with that. being someone who would be considered a part of the neurodivergent crew, for anyone to blame bad behavior on any kind of spectrum or neurodivergence is like, that's kind of a slap in the face to the rest of us. I mean, we're not all assholes. We don't all scream that our friends are drunks. So DM Rock says, I'm tired of Heather and Emily as well. I've seen that sentiment a lot, DM. Dats Estella says, the OC is cringy to watch. The way they tag team bullied Katie, we got to get into that too. Emily is a nasty person for bringing up Katie's custody case. Anna says, we've watched Shannon's entire life fall apart over the course of this show. While I think she has a problem, I can't help but feel bad for her. And I get what you're saying, because I too have fallen into throughout the years being kind of a Shannon apologist. Watching her with David Beador and imagining what her marriage was probably like even before then, that monstrous, crazy-eyed ninja warrior man. I mean, look at his soon-to-be or ex-wife or current wife, whatever now, and the issues they have and the alleged just restraining orders and things. I mean, it couldn't have been easy to be with that monstrous man. Thank you, Vivian, for the first super chat of the live. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that very much. Kylie says, I can totally identify with Shannon trying so hard to prove she can drink normally. Yes, when it was just exposing how important drinking was to me. And that's the thing. If you yourself have ever had to question whether you're an alcoholic, or if you're someone who identifies as an alcoholic, or you're sober now, you get it. Because a lot of, I don't want to speak for every alcoholic or every person who's gotten sober, but you have that conversation with yourself. Like, well, maybe I can socially drink. Well, maybe I'm only drinking a lot right now because I'm having a rough time. And maybe I'm only drinking alone because everyone else has failed me. And maybe I have to finish the bottles of wine because I don't want them to go bad or get bacteria. So maybe I have to drink all the wine. And maybe I get up at night and finish the wine while my significant other is sleeping, and then peek in the room to make sure he doesn't see me, because people just don't understand that I'm just very thirsty. You have these conversations with yourself where you try to, it's so hard if you're not ready to give up that one substance that you use or abuse or need, like you in your heart, you think you need it, and you don't know a life without it. And it's very terrifying. So you just make excuses. Well, if I had a therapist say, see if you can go out, here's how you know you're an alcoholic, Jolene. See if you can go out and just have a drink or two. And then that's it. And I was like, I can do that. So I went out and I had a drink or two. And then I left early and went home and got drunk by myself. And I was like, see, I can just go out and socially drink, and then I'll just drink the rest at home. And they're like, no, no, you have to completely stop drinking for the night. And I'm like, well, that sounds dumb. Who does that? Who doesn't finish all the drink? Tamra might not drink as much now, but she can get Vina CBD and chill. Did someone say Crazy Eyes, Paul Porter? Yes, we did. Lexi says, Eddie really does seem checked out from this marriage, Lexi. There's just something strange there. I will say, when someone is happy in their life, I know we're talking about Housewives, but if someone is happy at home and in their life, they're probably not screaming at their friends. And it's like, okay, Tamra, just admit you're screaming at Shannon because you hate her, but now you're telling us maybe we could be friends. You're going to her wanting to be her friend. What? There's something fishy. There's definitely a cloud of unhappiness covering her. So I loved that Shannon was definitely setting boundaries tonight and saying, no, I'm full of wounds. No, Tamra, no, I'm not doing that. But I also didn't like that, we're still at the, no, I can drink and I can have, but, as an alcoholic, I get it. But I wish the best for Shannon. And I don't think someone who claims to love her screaming in her face and embarrassing her is the way to go. I understand the frustration with alcoholics in your life and wanting people to get sober. I totally get that frustration, but I don't think Tamra's frustrated. I think she just wants to have this on Shannon to take her down. And that's honestly, I just think that's what's happening. Niners girl said, so get it. Sober since 2/15/20. Niners girl, congratulations. That is so freaking amazing. 2/15. And then 2 days later, it's my birthday, February 17th. So yes, Christina says, I'm on Vina CBD right now and mama is happy. Get it, Christina. I love that for you. Vivian says, now I'm wondering if I'm an alcoholic. Well, just you wondering you're probably not. But you know what? Do a self inventory, but I don't want to ruin drinking for everybody. Some people can drink just fine. I just wasn't one of those people. Graphic says, doesn't Eddie live in Big Bear more than OC? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. So we have that exchange, and Tamra doing this like fallback. Oh, I'm being so kind. And it's like, girl, you spent the whole season disparaging this woman, trying to make her look stupid, laughing in her face, calling her a drunk, calling her a loser, and the fact that Tamra is saying definitively, without any receipts, that Shannon was drunk while in treatment. Now we know how the Housewives treatment goes. Okay. We know the Rachel Raquel of it, where people are like, I went to the spa or whatever. And I'm not saying Rachel Raquel said she did go to therapy and stuff, but we know how the rich housewife Bravo celebrity goes to treatment versus, other people. But for Tamra to be like, no, you were drunk. You were drunk. You called me drunk. And Shannon's like, when this all went down, you were in Scotland filming Traitors. Tamra's like, no, afterwards I called you and you were drunk. Now, do I think Shannon probably called Tamra drunk? Yes, because a lot of people have said throughout the years that that's what Shannon does. She'll call drunk, she'll say things, and then she doesn't remember. But do I think it was while she was in her treatment facility? Actually, didn't she do outpatient? So maybe she was drunk. I don't know. But I'm going to need some receipts. And also, it's so icky. The way Tamra's going about it is so icky. Yes, Shannon obviously was drinking. Did Shannon give up alcohol for a period of time? I mean, does anybody think she did? I don't know. But the way Tamra's handling it, gross. It makes me want to cheer for Shannon and go, she was sober. When I know probably in my, mind that she wasn't. But they make it seem like she went into an inpatient, which I remember specifically her doing outpatient for 30 days. And we all were like, is that enough? I mean, we can't. Shannon is, she's in she's in a difficult spot in her life. I think she recognizes that. I think she hit rock bottom. Is she ready to get sober to admit she has a problem? No, but we also can't just absolve her. She did drive drunk and hit a house. She's very lucky she didn't kill herself or someone else. And then we'd be having totally different situation. So I don't want to act like that's not a big deal. It's a very freaking big deal. It's not good at all. But Tamra's delivery just sucks. Lisa's, outpatient, definitely not the same. Definitely not the same. You are right, Lee Armstrong, 100% right. So we have Tamra saying, no, you were drunk when you went to a facility or you, whatever she did, outpatient, you called me, and Shannon's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm so shocked, you guys, that Tamra doesn't have recordings of Shannon drunk. I feel like that's totally a Tamra move. So I wouldn't be surprised if she pulls that out. Yes, and she had Archie in the car. Good point, graphics. She's lucky Archie was okay. Because that I wouldn't forgive her. If something happens to Archie, no forgiveness, no empathy. Kylie says, I've done the same kind of program as Shannon. It's intensive outpatient, and they randomly do urinalysis 2 to 3 times a week. Oh, that's interesting. That test for the enzyme that breaks down alcohol. Well, if that is the case, maybe she didn't drink during that time. There's also, I've seen people do this kind of intensive outpatient, and they give them that medication where if you take it and then you drink even a drop of alcohol, you'll immediately be violently ill. So I don't know if that was the case. But yeah, if I knew more about, thanks for sharing that, Kylie, because that's good information to know. I don't know enough about her outpatient. I think that would actually be really cool for Shannon to talk about. I don't see her doing that. But just, I just think it'd be interesting to know about her, but I think she kind of wants to move on from this probably as quickly as she can. Sue says, the quote of the night from Joleen, she did drive drunk and hit a house. I mean, it's a big deal. Graphic says she did say that in the reunion that she was tested. Okay, I must have missed that part. So that's interesting. That's interesting to know. I know, Pamela, I want to too. Pamela says, I kind of believe Shannon. At least I want to. I wanted to because Tamra's just being so awful to her. So as that's happening, lots of talk about this. Tamra's pretending she wants to be her friend, which is crazy pants. Then we have the conversation of Jen about Ryan's crime or lack thereof, or crime, money laundering. So I didn't study the case like Emily did, but it appears that Ryan was they were implicating him as the money launderer. And from what they explained, it was like this guy who's now like facing 18 years in federal prison or something for this big MLB scam, gambling money, blah, blah, blah. That there was an account that the money, millions of dollars, went into that was Ryan's. And then they would take the money out and go to the casino a bunch in Las Vegas and gamble that. It was a lot, okay? But now Ryan is, which we saw at the finale, he was granted immunity, but bless Jen's heart, bless Jen's damn heart. I do like Jen a lot. I think she's a sweet person. I think she has such a kind heart. But just like Gina, I'm worried about Jen. I don't trust this Ryan. No. And when Jen's like, well, no, you guys don't understand. He didn't rat on his friend. Matt's his best friend. And they're like, but that's how you get immunity. That is not true. And then Emily says, yes, it is. It's true because I'm a lawyer. Now, unpopular opinion, I like that Emily is a lawyer. I wish every Housewives franchise had like 2 or 3 lawyers. I think because there's so much breaking the law within the Bravo celebrities and the Housewives and scam and whatever, that I love to hear a lawyer break it down. So for that, I'm grateful for Emily a lot when she does this. And Linda says, Emily explained it in a way I understood. And I even feel more bad for Jen, right? If this is the facts. And so I was like, yes, because so many times watching these shows, we are getting, almost gaslit by people like, no. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, God, I wish I was smart enough to go to law school. And he's like, you are smart enough. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get an LSAT book or something. But I wish I was like Emily D. Baker smart. So I could be like, no, here's how the law works. Because obviously, very important. If you understand the law, can interpret the law, it can be such a beneficial tool, especially if you're a housewife sitting on the couch with most likely, the percentage of housewives and or their spouses who are defrauding or might go to jail, kind of high, pretty high. And so I like that Emily was able to explain this. But Emily can do it in a way where she falls into, I think, lawyer mode. And she's just like, boom, 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 boom. It's like a machine gun firing away. And Jen's just like, that's not what Ryan told me. And it's like, girl, Ryan's face looks like a liar. If they were like, Joleen, can you show us the face of a man who lies? I'd be like, Ryan Bujikaki, whatever his name is. I don't know what his last name is. I'm so sorry. But Ryan, the now immune money launderer, allegedly, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false, you guys. Everything for entertainment purposes only. However, everything I say is true. Did I already say that except for the parts that are false? You know what I'm saying. Right, Miss T? Ryan looks guilty AF. AF. His clothing, his face, his facial expressions, the fact that when this information came out about him, and hit the blogs and the news about him being involved in this big, gambling scam, money laundering thing, she's like, he went one way and I went the other. What? Where did he go? To Vegas? Where did he go? And then we hear in the finale the conversation between Ryan's friend and it doesn't look good. He's introduced him as his money launderer. What? Ryan is sketchy and not good enough for sweet Jen, right? Jen did seem to hit a nerve with Emily when she said that you guys, Okay, I don't know if it was the editing, but when Jen came back at Emily after Emily was grilling her, Jen's like, well, you can't, everything you read, I read that your in laws support your family, they fund your lifestyle. I don't know if it's how they edited it, but Emily didn't really come. I don't know if we're waiting till part 2 for her to come back, but it seemed as though like graphics is saying that she did hit a nerve with her. And Shane's parents, I mean, they're loaded. So maybe, right? Emily, everybody loves Emily D. Baker, right? Niners girl, she's the best. So I wish I was as smart as Emily D. Baker. I wish I was Emily D. Baker smart. I wish that every day. Mm-hmm. So as Jen's trying to be like, no, he would never tell on his friend. They're like, then how did he get immunity? I don't know. I think that he showed the accounts, and then the account showed him, and then he showed him the bank accounts and the feds. But he never took the stand. He was, and they're like, yes, that's the exchange. Probably him showing all the financials and participating and, cooperating, as they would say, kept him immune. And Jen's like, oh, you guys don't understand. Yeah. Oh, did some people say it was 30? Well, some people said it was 40 million and some people said it was 60 million. And I'm thinking, oh, Jen, you're so smart, but you're so sweet. But this isn't you showing that. Miss T says Emily knows that's it. I think Emily does know it's kind of true. She does that because it took Shane 62 years to pass the bar. And I heard the California bar is like one of the hardest for sure. But it took him 62 years. What was he doing before this for work? I don't remember. Did they work together? But to have this lifestyle, and Emily, she doesn't lawyer anymore. I don't think. I think she just housewives, influence, volunteers with the Innocence Project. Graphics says, then you have Shannon saying to Andy, should she be talking about this if it's a legal case? It was like so much happening. Yes, he's a cooperative stitch or snitch. So I felt bad for Jen because she's like, what? Because she just is going by what Ryan told her. And Ryan's like, hey, Jen, go buy a dress. Go to Neiman Marcus. He's slimy. And she's still going to marry him. I'm like, no, Jen, no. But she says she's happy. So we'll see how that plays out. So Emily very much, looking, and I understand why Emily is looking into these cases because she's a lawyer. All right. This shit interests her. She loves the law. She likes, dissecting it. And she loves being able to share that information and kind of read her fellow housewives. And she's very smart, but I think sometimes you're going a little too hard. What do they say? Hard in the paint? I don't even get that if I'm even saying it right. But she's going a little too hard at them, especially like a Jen, But I do like that Jen is starting to bite back. Get it, girl. You don't got to let them walk all over you. You don't have to be all namaste. Look at Teresa Judah. She does yoga all the time, and she will still stab people while in downward dog. Okay? And similar to what is with the yoga ladies getting with these scammer dudes? Because Teresa's husband, Louie, we don't know what he does either. Anytime a housewife, boyfriend, husband comes on the scene and no one understands what he does, it's not good. And even when we do understand what they do, Tom Girardi, not good. Not good. Carolyn said Shane's parents actually do fund their lifestyle. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Paul says it's a basketball term. It's where the big guys get physical. Paul, I'm so glad you're here. The big guys get physical under the hoop. So it's called going hard in the paint. Is there paint under the hoop? I do like myself some NBA, some Timberwolves, but I'm still not well-versed in it. Miss T says Emily needs to get back into law. I think she misses it too. And we did see, I watched Watch What Happens Live because Connie Chung and Jackie, I forget the actress's last name. So funny. Great guest. I love that, especially they're having two like older women on, I just would rather hear from older women. I don't know. They're just so hilarious. And Jackie said that Emily, she needs to find something to do. Kylie said Ryan and Louie are the same people to me. They really are. So it's funny how different Jen and Teresa are. Because Jen is just like, I don't really want to have to like say anything or hurt anybody. And Teresa's like, I'll stab you, bitch. Like Teresa's just ready to go. She's like Jersey Lala. Okay. but Teresa will actually do something. Okay. So Paul said the space under the hoop is painted, and this is called the paint. I feel like I should be paying you for this lesson. Write this all down. There'll be a quiz. Okay. I'll fail the quiz. Okay. But I appreciate that. I think I'll remember that. There is paint under the hoop. You go hard in the paint. Thank you, Paul. I'm using the analogy. I don't even know what it means. And now I do, sort of. Shani said it was so good. They're so cute and funny on Watch What Happens Live. And the fact that Connie Chung was like, all the dudes were trying to get with her. And Jimmy Carter was perving on her under a table. I was like, does Connie Chung have a book? Because I'm going to buy it. I also am going to buy that book of that gentleman that was on tonight working the bar. I don't know who he is. And that doesn't mean anything because, Jonathan Alter, America Reckoning, Inside Trump's Trial and My Own. So I was like, ooh, I want to read that. So I already have it up on my Amazon. Like, okay, we might audiobook that. That's just easier for me. Graphic says our Watch What Happened Live got cut off. I have to wait for the replay. It's good. It really is. Super good. Yes, Jimmy Carter. That's what she said. I was like, the peanut farmer? Well, my husband said that actually. Something about a peanut farm. And I was like, was he a peanut farmer? He's like, yeah, he was. I'm like, okay. Okay, Jimmy. Calm your boner. And then Warren Beatty. And Ryan O'Neal and Andy asked her who's hotter. Or who was like hotter, Warren Beatty or Ryan O'Neal. And I think both are known for being kind of D-bags, but Ryan O'Neal takes the cake on the D-bagness, right? Isn't Warren Beatty still married to Annette Bening? But he was a playboy, I remember. Just when I was young, he like dated Madonna. But I do remember people's stories that he wasn't the nicest. But Ryan O'Neal, that's a real trash bag right there. I don't even know if that man is still alive. Okay. Shawnee says, is Katie a liar? That story. Let's get into it. So this is the one I really want to talk about is the Katie situation. So this reunion was like hit. The hits kept coming. Then all of a sudden it was time to question Katie. Now, Katie came into the cast of Orange County as a newbie this season. All right. And Katie, I did not like the way she came in. She came in like through Sutton and then through Gina and then saying, Heather Dubrow blew me off. And then Heather Dubrow tagged me on Instagram, even though she doesn't follow me on Instagram. Really weird. And then Heather Dubrow and Terry Dubrow called the paparazzi on themselves. And I was like, boring, and more boring. All of those things, I believe, though. I do believe Heather would, maybe she wouldn't make the call. Maybe Terry wouldn't make the call. But someone in their camp would make the call. Yeah, totally. I've said this before. All of them would do that. But I also don't give a shit. I don't care if Heather calls the paparazzi on herself. I don't care if Terry does. I assume all the reality people are going to do that. So I was bored with that. And I believe Katie did come in thinking, I'm a new housewife. What am I going to do? I'm going to go after Heather. Maybe she had seen her at parties. Maybe she just didn't like her. Maybe she just picked her, threw a dart at the Housewives of Orange County board and was like, who am I going to go after? And it was just a really dumb way to come into the group, and we wasted so much time with Heather being like, oh, I would never. And it's like, Heather, please. We know the rumors that you and Terry, there was some trouble in paradise or whatever. Is it true? I don't know. I hope not. I hope you stay married forever and ever. Amen. But let's not like blow this out of proportion. You can be like, okay, weirdo liar, you're being weird. If you want to comfort, Katie on that, I get it. But I just feel like we talked about it so freaking much, So then Heather's already on the defense. I want to be friends with everyone after this. Well, some of them, most of them, I think she said. So obviously not Katie. Now through the season, Katie got caught in some interesting situations where Gina seemed to have her back. And then Gina's like, oh, she lied on me. And Katie was playing sketch. She was doing too much. And she continues to do too much. But I will say I agree with you guys. When they were questioning Katie and her intentions coming into the show of coming for Heather and who her paparazzi friend was and what they actually said and how the story changed a few times. And Katie's like, it didn't change. It was mostly Emily and Heather coming for Katie. They then threw out an allegation saying, well, I think Heather did, saying, you're not new to lying on people. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And then they shared the story. So I didn't see this story before the reunion. Like, I heard rumblings as they were advertising the reunion, but like months before this, I didn't hear about this. But apparently there's been lots of stories about Katie that have come out and hit the blogs. And one of them is 9-10 years ago, according to her timeline. There was a incident that happened in Marietta, Georgia, where she was driving with her kids, and she said a man swerved in front of her or swerved to the side of her when they were driving and yelled that she was a bitch and was just like, ugh, and then wouldn't let her leave. And it's a little convoluted, right? The story itself, like, then he got out of the car, but why did they both stop? What happened? If you were driving in an area where you could drive around him, why didn't you just drive around him? If someone's driving in front of my car and they're a threat to me and I got my kids in the car, I'm just going to run you over. We'll decide later, I guess, what's going to happen. Hopefully I need to get one of them cameras in my car or something. But Katie was like, then he got out of the car and he came up to my car and he was filming it. And I'm thinking, just drive off right there. If a crazy person is there, she's like, and then he went around the back and he took my license plate. Well, I would definitely drive off because he's behind the car. But then she said his car's in front. But then he went to the front and then she called the police and told the police he wouldn't let her leave. And then the police got there and they told the man to calm down and leave. And they tased him, and then he went to jail or was arrested. The way Emily told it was that you got a man wrongfully convicted in prison. And I'm like, what? These are two different stories. Then they start, through editing, they start showing us the articles about this, the stories about this, where apparently, according to the police and according to these news stories, Katie was the one who followed the man home. The man's recollection and the police's recollection is that Katie was texting. And this guy was pissed she was texting. So he must have yelled at her and said, stop texting, bitch, or something. I don't know. And then Katie followed him to his home. And then they got out of the car. And then he filmed her. And then the police came. And the police thought, since he was all hyped up, he was the aggressor, tased him, arrested him, but then came to find out he wasn't the aggressor, according to them. It was Katie. Are you guys following? Because this is like so damn confusing. And I was thinking as I'm listening to this, how hard is it to prove that if you have video, if the guy has video and the video's out there or was in the court case or whatever, to show that it was outside of his house and that she followed him to his home? Because if she's like because I think he said she was in his driveway. Well, that should be not that hard to prove, And Katie's like, I wouldn't follow someone to their house. And part of me was like, yeah, why would a mother with 2 kids in the car follow someone to their house? But then I thought, well, maybe she was real. I don't know. Because her stories are very convoluted. Now, I will say, the irony wasn't lost on me that Emily, a volunteer for the Innocence Project, helping people wrongfully convicted, was saying, what are the police lying? Her and Heather. And it's like, I mean, yeah, sometimes the police lie. We know that. And Katie, not saying I know what happened, but Katie, as a woman of color, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that she could be lied on by the police. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that she didn't feel safe. Now, she said she didn't show up in court because at the time, as she was explaining it, it started to click more in my head like, whoa, at this time, she was really going through something. Katie must have been going through a very difficult time. And we don't know all of that information because she didn't come in, obviously, sharing that information. There was a custody battle. She's in Georgia. She had left her husband, but her address was still listed to her ex-husband. She had to live, I think she might have said a facility or somewhere, and then ends up losing custody of her children for 18 months. And then I was like, oh shit, this stuff is getting deep. And then I start feeling bad for Katie because that must have been really difficult, whatever she went through with the divorce and the husband, and as a woman. And I'm assuming like a woman, maybe she, I don't know at the time, I don't know what it's like in that area of Georgia. I don't know if she didn't feel sick. I don't know. But they just kept grilling her. And then it's hard to watch someone get grilled about losing custody of their kids. I mean, she gained the custody back, but Emily brought up, well, let me ask you this. How did you lose like legal physical custody of your kids? Because you in California have to do like something really bad as a woman to lose physical custody. And I was like, oh, geez, Louise. And then she went on to say, I mean, I couldn't, I left my husband, my parents, I went to them to kind of help get me out of the situation, and they wouldn't because they didn't want me to get a divorce. So, and we know this to be true. There is financial abuse. There are many women, especially housewives, and we've seen this happen over the years, who are kind of trapped in marriages because, and just, regular ass ladies that aren't housewives too, where we as women are trapped in relationships because we don't have money of our own. We don't have an income of our own. Whether, Katie, she's probably, I would assume, at that time, maybe her husband, being in this housewives world, a lot of them now have their own money, but a lot of them start with the marriage with a man that has more money than them. And so, again, this is all me just speculating on what I know about being a woman and women in general and housewives women, that it does make sense that Katie could be in a situation where she needed to leave her ex, but she didn't have the financial independence, and he could have definitely held that over her, or even not held it over her, but once she left, she had to leave with nothing at the time. So that's when I started to be like, oh shit. And then she started to tear up, and I'm thinking, okay. And then Andy says, it does seem like Heather and Emily, you are really digging for stuff. And Heather just happened to say before the reunion started, I just don't want people to dig into people's backgrounds. And I don't want us to be pulling up receipts on each other. And then they did that. So, and I think if another woman doesn't have empathy for you in this situation, because, this could happen to a lot of the housewives, and has happened to the housewives, where, you have to, and like Pamela saying, Katie did say that she's been where Jen is without a plan B. And unfortunately, in those situations, your plan B, if you're used to being in a relationship where the man has the money and you don't necessarily make your own money like that, and he's the main breadwinner, your plan B is going to be find another man with money. I mean, look at Erica Jane. And that's why so many housewives have said, hey, ladies, make sure you get, I forget which particular, but I know we've had this conversation through the years, because we've had, look at what happened to Teresa Giudice. She was like, I didn't even know you had to pay taxes, I don't know why that's my Teresa Giudice voice, but Joe Giudice, she claims, I didn't know, I do believe that Teresa just signed shit and was like, I don't care, but people like Erica Jane too. I don't think she didn't know everything she was signing, because I think Erica is much smarter than Teresa. No offense, all offense. But I do think Erica was in a situation where someone had some financial control over her. And so it's crazy that these two women wouldn't be a little empathetic for her situation. Now, I know Emily, being a lawyer, and that's her specialty, like family court, divorce lawyer, all that stuff. So for her, maybe she's a little more desensitized to it. And Emily does get mad. She's one of the housewives that gets mad when she sees other housewives not have their own money, not have to make their own money, not have to have their own way. But I mean, I know Emily, lawyer, she's done the damn thing. She could definitely support herself. Her lifestyle, I don't know, because now we're adding in maybe Shane's parents might be helping. But I did immediately start feeling bad for Katie. But I do think Katie's story is sketchy. I think a lot of the stories are sketchy. I think Katie might have a little bit of what they call liabilities. She might not even know she's just making up fibbies and lying. But they made it seem like you got a man in prison falsely. Calm down. He was arrested. They tased him. According to the police, he was being a little too wild when they showed up. Okay, but it's not like they made it seem like she like put, schmurder on the guy and was like, he schmurdered me. And they're like, okay, we believe it. Wait a minute, you're still breathing. They made it seem way worse. Was it a case of road rage? I don't know. I don't know who to believe. I would have to see like body cam footage or something at this point. But it's convoluted. Katie's stories are a little convoluted. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here, because I feel like I've been blabbing away. Let's see. She followed a man with the kids in her car. Yeah. Lexi Lena saying that's what the police and stuff say. Kylie says there's a difference between being arrested and brought in to be booked and released, being convicted and thrown in jail. Esquire Emily. I'm surprised Emily would say that. She said prison, I think. And I'm like, this man did not go to prison. Lori says Katie's story sounds like Beef on Netflix about road rage was wild. That show, if you guys haven't watched Beef on Netflix, it with Ali Wong and the guy, he's so cute. He was on Walking Dead. He was Glenn on Walking Dead. I forget the actor's name. It was so good, so disturbing, but just showing how these little, this kind of rage and stuff and not letting it go, not having coping skills can really lead you down a dark ass path. It did sound a little bit like Beef. Maybe that story's based on Katie. Wouldn't that be crazy? Shawnee says police lie all the time. So it wasn't lost on me that you had two white women screaming at a woman of color saying, "Oh, really? The police lie?" And yeah. I think we might have a little problem with that in this country. So yeah. Now, and that Emily was a part of the Innocence Project, and she's like, the police wouldn't lie. And it's like, but you literally are part of a project where people get falsely arrested, falsely convicted. You know that exists. You know that our judicial system is not without many flaws. So I was like, ooh, this is not a good look. This is not a good look. Linda says, sounds like Katie was going through a lot at that time. It really does. And that's where my heart was like, oh, damn, Katie. That's some shit right there. I still think she might have a little diabetes, but also I do believe she's been through some stuff. Okay. The shit's got layers. Pamela says, right. And they were so vicious bringing that all up. Yes. And I understand that Emily, for her, it's like this is the cases she deals with every day. And she probably is a little more desensitized to it. And she's like, I want to know the facts. Why did this happen to you? Why? And it, but maybe cool it a little bit. Lexi says you can have someone go to jail because you can't have someone going to jail because you're going through something. 100%. I just don't know what the real story is, but no, you shouldn't get anyone arrested because you're going through something. You definitely shouldn't follow anyone in your car like it's the show Beef on Netflix, like you guys are saying. Chumba Wumba says, I think the only story that matters about the situation is Katie's. Were the other women there? I mean, no, they weren't. Lexi says they're court documents. I gotta read this and see. Shawnee says Katie's a little strange, but I really like her husband. He really loves her, and I like them together, right? And I do want to see if Shannon's going to apologize, because I am still cringed and also laughing at the fact that at the finale party, Ryan and Jen's engagement, tacky bridesmaid engagement party, that she went up to him. She's like, and he was like, well, I mean, maybe you just need to take a break as someone who cares about you. And I'm thinking, it was such a weird conversation. It's like, do you know Shannon well? Do you care about her? Or do you just, in the moment, you're trying to sympathize with her? And he said, maybe you want to step back. And she's like, oh my God, Katie, your husband. He is, I can't believe what he said to me. I'm thinking, I didn't really think it was bad what he said. I thought he was just trying to like comfort you, but also say like, well, maybe you just want to step away from this. I feel like that's something my husband would say to me. Like, well, maybe this isn't serving you. And I'd be like, you'd almost react to a husband like, you don't know, like that. But you can't react to someone else's husband like that. Let's see. Okay, with that one. Graphic says the dang blogs, they put out stories, so they had to read them, right? They're like, we didn't investigate. The blogs put it out. Shine says, I'm finally watching last season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills right now, and I'm so bummed I missed No Offense, All Offense with you guys. I might have some recaps though for my Beverly Hills there might be a playlist of Beverly Hills that you could check out. But yeah, we missed you. Totals. But I'm glad you're here now. Chumbawamba says, exactly, Pamela D. This gang up on Katie feels like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City to Monica. These OC women need to do better by Katie versus defending Heather's honor. Gina or Emily and Gina are terrified of Heather. Kaya is saying Ramona always talked about women making that. Yes, it was Ramona talked about that. That was like the one good thing about Ramona. That and her model walk. But so much bad about Ramona. Oh my god. Chickenhead PK Dorkface Neely, you don't support other women. Or when she said that to Bethany. Thank you, PK Chickenhead PK Dorkface Neely for the super chat, saying being on the side of the road versus the cops' place at his house. I believe the cops. I mean, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. The shit scholar. I love how Sue H gets all my quotes. I love it. Because then I'm like, oh yeah, I have to think. Did I say that? I did say that. Because I say so many things, you know. Vivian says Janelle from Teen Mom did the same thing. She did. What did she do? Which one's Janelle again? Why can't I think of Janelle from Teen Mom? Okay. Janelle. Oh shit. North Carolina with Barb, her mom, who worked at Walmart. Shout out to Barb. And she followed him with kids in the car, Vivian. I used to love Teen Mom, but I stopped watching it quite a while ago, but I kept up a little bit with that. Obviously not enough. So thanks for the info. Lexi says that scene with Shannon and Katie's, it was so funny. Shannon went, yes, Shani left on him for no reason. He was like, well, maybe you just want. She's like, oh, how dare you? I'm like, you went to him. Like he's like, I'm just standing here waiting to go home. This isn't golf. I don't like this. Speaking of golf, they brought up that Katie's doing some kind of like shots in like a golf ball. And then there was a lawsuit against someone saying that wasn't her original idea. And then she said, no, that is my friend's guy or something. I'm like, okay, it's kind of a lot. And where there's smoke, there's fire. So I do think Katie might have a little bit of diabetes. Vivian says, even she pulled a GUN. Oh, I remember that. Her oldest was in the car. Yes, I watched the video of that. Now I remember. Oh my gosh, Vivian, thank you for reminding me of that. That was Janelle is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Her and Amber, oh, trash. Amber, oh, that poor. I must be in an algorithm for videos about Amber, even though I don't watch the show anymore, where about Amber's daughter, who's now like 12 or 13 or something, or 14, and that poor baby girl having Amber for a mom. And the fact that Gary, who I didn't really like in the beginning, I mean, I didn't like either of them, how he stepped up and was, a good parental father figure and gave her a wonderful mom, a stepmom, I should say, but that she considers her mom. Just breaks my. I just wish the best for that little girl. Dog mom Laura, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I love that you're dog mom Laura. Chumbawamba says, I think people underestimate the power of editing. We've seen it with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Adam. Truth is, all people lie, including cops. Housewives produce. You know what, Chumbawamba? That is a very level-headed, logical answer. That is true. Kylie said there's definitely her side, his side, the Popo side, and somewhere in that mess lies the truth. Thank you, Laura. Says, love your podcast and your great community. I think the people here make it. I don't know what I do. I just talk shit. Sometimes I brush my hair, but it is really everybody here. Because if no one was here, I'd just be me, and that would be so fucking boring. Sarah Lynch says Heather was such a letdown. God, I got to get into the Salt Lake City. I got to get caught up still, but I am on the episode where Whitney talks to Up and Adam, and we talked about that. If you guys missed No Offense, All Offense earlier today, we talked about the latest drama around that, and very interesting. Thank you, Dog Mom Laura, for the super chat as well. You make me laugh so much. That is so sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So the episode ends, I believe, with Jen calling out Emily, what we talked about earlier on the your parents fund. Is that how it ended? I think so. That your in-laws fund your lifestyle. So we'll see next episode. Heather was very aggressive this episode, this first part of the reunion. Tamra was trying to play it back meek, like, oh, I just want to be your friend. And they talked about her skin peeling. Did you guys follow Tamra on her skin peeling journey? It was horrendous. I'm all for do what makes you feel good, but that what I was like, what is she doing? She has to be high on the pain meds or something. And then she admitted that, yeah, she was, or we're gonna see her admit that the first time was a little pain meds, but then people were really interested in watching her recovery. But I'm like, I would rather see her in a therapy session. Like, Tamra has had so many face things now. I'm like, okay, cool. I definitely don't need it. But they burned her skin off. I am so worried about the future. And do I have to burn my skin? I just don't want to. I just don't want to, guys. Okay? I just don't want to. I'm not on television, so I don't have to. But yes. Best chat on YouTube. It's so oh yes, thank you, graphics for and the whole Jeff Lewis thing. I don't understand why they're so mad at Shannon for well, okay, so I kind of see both their sides here. I see where Heather could be like, you're talking about it on a podcast. So I can't talk about it. But I also am like, she's talking about it because it's her business. And if you do want to have this relationship with Shannon, which let's be honest, Heather doesn't really, she doesn't want to be, in a fight with her per se, but she just wants Tamra as her bestie. She's like infatuated with Tamra, and I don't get it, but okay. So if you truly want to like have a relationship with Shannon, wouldn't you just take that information she told you about the picture, like, oh my God, Shannon, when Shannon's like, look, John, this is me after I crashed into a house, blood on me. And I love how Heather, whose husband is a surgeon, goes, oh my God, you think you're not going to bleed when you run head first in the house in your car when you're drunk? Yeah. And doesn't alcohol thin your blood too? You're going to be extra bloody. Okay. It's going to be a super plus day, but oh my God. And then I just feel like Heather, again, when she gets with Tamra, she's out there, and not that it's Tamra's fault because Heather's a grown lady, but they get out there and then they're looking up how much someone's dress is and they're doing mean girl shit. And I think Shannon and Tamra, they used to do the mean girl shit, which is why we saw them going back and forth this season of, oh yeah, well, Tamra said this about you in my text. Oh yeah, well, Shannon forgot about this part of the text. And they were always trying to set someone up, like real mean girl shit. So when they talk about Jeff Lewis and Heather or Shannon going on Jeff Lewis, who was one of her good friends, she's trying to explain, I didn't think about if John Weirdo Jansen, Johnny J, could hear that I crashed into a house right after it happened. I didn't realize it until I talked to Jeff Lewis, and he said, don't you think he could have heard you because you were really close to his house? And then they took that and they ran with it. And it's just like, okay, but Shannon was just telling you, Heather, and you'll get mad if someone thinks you called the paparazzi on yourself. So imagine in Heather's situation. So it was just like, yes, why did Tamra share her burning skin? I don't know. Lady Steph says when Tamra showed herself healing during her last face makeover, she looked like Christopher Walken. I think I can see it now. It was really bad. I was like, what happened? It was really bad. Pamela B says then Shannon tried to play it off by walking her down. Shannon, I shouldn't laugh, but what are you gonna do? It's horrible. She should never drink and drive, blah, blah. Horrible, crash your car, very bad stuff. But she hits the car and then she gets out of the car allegedly. She's like, come on, Archie. I'm walking, Archie. What are you talking about? And the cops approach her and she's like, what's up? I'm just walking my dog here. And the dog's like, when she's bleeding, like, no, I think she went home or something. I don't know. And then they're like, ma'am, is that your car? I've never seen that car before in my life. I've never seen it. I don't even know. Is that a house? I would have never had a house. And then Heather brought up that something interesting. She said, well, what you blew at, Shannon, 3 times, and the fact that you were still awake. I mean, Terry's a surgeon. I don't know if you guys know Terry DeBro's a surgeon. He's a surgeon. And Terry said that that's someone like, that's a seasoned drinker. I've actually heard, I don't know what's true. But that if you are someone who drinks a lot, the more you drink, the less it'll take you to get drunk. Because you kind of break down your tolerance, or you break, I don't know. But I'm not a surgeon like Mr. Terry DeBrow. Kylie says Heather came into the season terrified of being targeted like last season. Yes, that's true, Kylie, and did too much, made a damn fool of herself. Last season, she was terrified there was going to be a repeat of that, because that was the first time we've ever really seen Heather in the hot seat like that. And she was just like, oh my God, me? And so they were all coming for her. It seems like every season they have to pick somebody, which is crazy. Yeah, burn in secret. Thank you, Miss T. Tamra, next time you're going to burn your skin off, do it in the privacy of your own home. All right. Mimi says Tam has gone too far. She needs to go already. And the before looks better than the after for dang sure. Pamela says that was some crazy shiznit. Sarah, I've wondered that. Sarah Lynch says, I actually think Tamra has some dirt on Heather. Well, we know that Heather is very cognizant of people making these allegations that Terry's a cheater, because she even says it. She's like, oh yeah, and Terry cheats on me. And I'm like, oh Lord. And we did see like the hot mic this season with Heather, with Terry when they were at the doctor for his nose job or whatever. And she told him not to admonish her on camera or something. I don't remember what her exact words were. But Pamela P says, Heather clutching her pearls over it. Kylie says blood, is that blood alcohol? Isn't a level of, the BAC isn't a level of impairment. So if your BAC is that high and you're functioning, you're pretty seasoned. Okay. Well, that's from your comment and Terry DeBro's lips. That's what people are saying. And very interesting. Lady Steph says if anybody is cheating with Terry, it is definitely for his money, not his look. Well, any of these dudes, any of these rich older dudes. I mean, it's never for the looks. It's the money, the lifestyle. Mimi, they're out there. We know people are out there. They're just like, hey, but I don't know. I'm not ready to jump on the Terry DeBro's a cheater bandwagon. I hope he's not. Can we just get one of these husbands who's not gross, please? You know who probably doesn't cheat? Shane. I'm trying to think. Who do I think is the least likely Orange County husband to cheat on his wife? I'm going to go with Shane, because I feel like Shane's annoyed with everybody. So, but then again, maybe that, yeah, I don't know. I hope none of them are. That was a funny scene with Terry after he got out of surgery, though. Yes. Pamela says he doesn't seem like a cheater. I don't think he does either. Archie, thank you. Archie is going to be graphics, the most loyal significant other. Misty says Ryan not. You said Shane would love to. I just think of Shane as asexual. I know he has children and he's definitely had sex before, and they do talk about butt stuff. But I also, maybe it's because I want to look at him as asexual. I don't want to think about him. But sometimes when him and Emily they catch them in moments when she's drinking, and he's ready to put it in the butt. Okay. Adam, you joined just in time to hear us talk about put it in the butt. So what in the butt? What in the butt? Yeah, Ryan is definitely, and Jen is so beautiful, and she has such a kind heart, and she doesn't deserve it. So we're going to go with Archie. Archie's going to be the most faithful of the significant others. But Shannon, you almost don't deserve him for having him in the car when you were drinking and driving. So part one overall, you guys, I would say pretty good. Okay. The women are like, they are coming out, and they are coming out swinging. But I like to see Jen kind of stand up for herself. I like to see her throw it back at Emily. I like Emily's knowledge of the law. I just love myself a lawyer woman, a smart lawyer lady. Tamra is trying to play the, I guess if Paul's still here, what would be a good analogy for someone who comes out aggressive, a good sports analogy, and then tries to play like, all demure, like, I just want to be your friend. I'm so innocent. Yeah. She tried to do that. Heather came out aggressive. Shannon is putting up boundaries and she's an open wound. Okay. Gina came off empathetic, understanding. She was even trying to be there for Katie. Jen as well. She definitely threw some stuff back, but then she was telling Katie, like, I'm sorry they're doing this to you. And they even asked Jen, like, how do you know that Katie's not lying? And Jen says, well, because she has a story for it. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. He's Mormon, you know. I don't know. Can Mormons not have the butt stuff? We'll have to ask Heather Gay. I'll have to check. Kylie said it'd be an ultimate plot twist if Ryan and Jen are the couple that outlast the rest. That would be. I hope for Jen that's true, but that's hard for me to believe. Graphic says I like Gina too tonight. And it sounds like we're going to hear a more hopeful message about her and Trav, maybe. And I think that guy seems like a nice guy. And Gina doesn't drink anymore, and she didn't push him down the stairs allegedly, even though Shannon and Tamra were trying to set her up about that. And at first, their relationship frustrated me, but now the more I learn about the situation with the ex, I'm like, oh, maybe it makes a little more sense. Kind of, not really. I don't know, right? Jen has grown on me. And when she came in there with a flat tummy and a crop top, and she got Tamra with just foundation on, looking like a ghost, I love it. Get your enemy when they're getting their hair and they still have like the static sticking up in their hair, not an eyelash, not a liner, just the foundation, a little concealer. So you're just like looking like a ghost, looking like me every day. And then read them the riot act. I'm all for that. Because it's like, that's what Tamra does. She pokes and pokes and she tries to see, you know, how much she can get away with. And she sees people as easier targets. And then Jen was, no, bitch, you're not going to do this to me anymore. And I'm like, get her, Jen. Get her. Hey, Care Bear. Care Bear says, hey, I'll just stop in to say good night and to say Tamara's a piece of shit, horrible ass friend. Okay, night night. Thank you, Care Bear. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Love you. Ariana revenge dress. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than a good revenge dress, revenge body, revenge walking. Jen came in, mermaid hair, cute little like casual crop top, a stomach I would literally kill people for. Well, depends. Okay. But I would do a lot of things for that stomach, and like little oversized jeans, a little baggy, looking all good, and was like, Tamra, you're a effing bitch and blah, blah, blah. And like checked her ass. I was like, yes, you got to get them when they least expect it. You got to get these hoes when they least expect it. Don't let her put any lashes on. You have been coming for me. Whether you're right about Ryan or not, the way you talk to Jen is disgusting. Ryan can be a whole ass piece of garbage. And yes, she wants to like take a victory lap, which if you're someone's real friend, you don't take a victory lap because you're right that the guy is horrible. That's not what you do. Okay. Now I know that back when Vicky had the guy she had to buy his teeth, old rotten mouth, who faked cancer. What was his name? Brooks. Not Brooks Marks, but Rotten Mouth Brooks. I was okay with her taking a little bit of a lap on that because Vicky was insufferable with that guy. But this one, it's like, come on, girl. No, that's not a good friend. So I love seeing Jen just get her. You know, I was just like, get her. Get her again for me. Hit her. Get it.
I'm just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me. Ah! Done.
Get him. Get her. Get her. Ah! Get her again for me. Ah! Mimi says, I miss Ariana. Who doesn't? But Ariana is going to be, I didn't talk about this yet. I think probably everybody knows, but she is going to be in the Thanksgiving Day parade. She's one of the headliners. I mean, her star keeps rising. Ariana just keeps getting these opportunities. Yes. So love to see it. Yes, Jen looked adorable at her bridesmaid party. This T says Tamra's nobody's friend. Adam says Tamrad has no soul. I mean, sometimes I'm just like Tamra. Now, when I watched her on the past season of Traitors, I was like, oh, okay. I feel like sometimes I can tolerate Tamra. And then sometimes I'm like, girl, you are just being so mean. And I need you to pick on somebody your own size. I need you to come for, you know, I need Tamra to be up against I need another. Was she on an Ultimate Girls trip? Yes, she was on the one at Bluestone Manor. I need another Ultimate Girls trip with all the heavy hitters, all the Housewives heavy hitters, and I need her to get checked and understand it because she's aligning herself with people like Teddy Mellencamp. And what's Shannon gonna do? You know, and then Jen. That's why I kind of liked when her and Emily were at odds because I wanted Emily to go at her. But yes. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining for this special No Offense, All Offense breakdown, roast, and recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County reunion part 1. Next week, next Thursday, I'm going to come live while the episode's airing on the East Coast. I will watch it. I won't be able to share it with you guys, but you can watch it where you are if you're on the East Coast. If you're not on the East Coast, you can just hang out and we'll be watching it and reacting as it happens. And I think we'll have a good time. We'll have some fun. I'll be back tomorrow with another pop culture roast. No offense, all offense at 11:45 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys join me for that. Make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are on. YouTube likes to unsubscribe people and turn their notifications off. So double check. You guys are all amazing. Shout out to all of my super chatters tonight. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Chickenhead PK Dorkface Neely. Thank you, Dog Mom Laura, for becoming a member of the channel. Enjoy the content and the emojis. And also thank you for the super chat as well and the kind words. I appreciate you guys so very much. Please comment after the video posts. I don't get to all of your comments in the chat. And I love hearing what you guys think of all this. And shout out to my replay crew. Thank you to all of my mods. You guys are all beautiful, wonderful pumpkin spice babies. And like I always say, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.